Here we will cover some of the following considerations that are helpful in determining the composition of a drawing: balance and center of interest, convergence and coverage, foreground and background, and cropping and framing. Balance and center of interest. A subject placed dead center in a drawing can be balanced, but often appears static and lifeless, while the same object placed off-center can evince movement or energy. That same subject placed at the edge of the drawing can create tension in the image. In this image, the window mullions, aisles, and acoustic clouds all create a strong diagonal X pattern that leads your eye to the activity on stage. Any drawing has a hierarchy of information. That is, different objects have different levels of importance to the viewer. Understand what elements of the drawing are most significant and locate them strategically in the frame. As can be seen in this image, the vanishing point in this perspective is shifted slightly off-center to add interest to the composition. All line work reinforces the distant clock tower. Convergence and coverage. Like arrows pointing to your subject, diagonal lines converging toward a main element can produce a feeling of energy. Such diagonal lines can be straight or curved. Horizontal lines, on the other hand, evoke peace and calm. For example, this sketch has no frame of reference because the buildings on either side of the outdoor retail space are not drawn. By eliminating the architecture, the public space between them is emphasized. This unusual drawing composition highlights the wide range of possibilities inherent in the visualization process. The amount of delineation within a given drawing dimension can vary greatly. Some drawings fill 100% of the framed area with edge-to-edge coverage. Other drawings might only fill 75% or less of the framed area, with a reduction of detail at the outer edges of the image. Experiment with different frame and coverage options to discover the different drawing personalities of each option. As can be seen in this drawing, this aerial view illustrates the architecture, landscape design, circulation patterns, and amenities in a fully developed drawing. Aerial views tend to be larger than most concept drawings because of the amount of detail required to show all of the elements. A hierarchy of detail is established. More detail is shown in the center, and less detail is shown near the edges of the image. Foreground and background. Placing large objects in portions of an image creates depth by emphasizing those subjects in the distance. Imagine peering over this stone wall and sketching the distant tree. By placing the wall in your drawing, you acknowledge the existence of a foreground object, establishing an illusion of space between you and the tree. Foreground objects can either be delineated with a great amount of detail or de-emphasized and silhouetted without detail. This concept drawing reveals three distinct areas of focus. The foreground has a table with wine glasses that engages the viewer. The central portion of the image shows dining activity, and the background establishes the setting and distant beach activity. The overhead roof frames the ocean view. On the other hand, a sense of distance can be created by drawing objects that have minimal detail, color, or size. In this figure, the foreground rocks and wall in this drawing are highly detailed. To emphasize distance, the mountains are created with a single line and minimal coloring. The foreground has greater detail, where the background has minimal detail. Cropping and frame. The focus and emphasis of a subject in a drawing can be manipulated by editing the image. Cropping is the act of taking away or subtracting portions of the original image area. This drawing was blocked out from a photograph and drawn with a heavy hand and a very soft pencil. The rounded frame, aggressive cropping, variations in contrast, and bold outlines create a dynamic composition. A line drawn around the edges of an image contains the subject, as can be seen in this drawing, which has a very loose frame containing the image. The frame encloses the image area and establishes a clear limit to the amount of information being presented. A heavy outline around the subject itself can create a similar effect, as can be seen in this drawing. This eye-level perspective was delineated with a rectangular frame. Drawing detail extends to every edge. Coloring covers all areas of the drawing field equally.